Hello and welcome to your 10 at 10. Today we are going to talk about the difference between prospecting and marketing. So the biggest difference is when you're prospecting, you're actually putting yourself out there, right? Marketing is kind of a second-hand approach at generating business, right? When you're talking about marketing, you're talking about sending a newsletter, sending an email, maybe even direct messaging or texting, although that's kind of like kind of in no man's land, right? It could be either, just depending on, what your message is and what your ask is, right? So when we're talking about prospecting, we're talking about calling past clients is one example of prospecting, right? One of my favorite things to do when I'm in the car is calling past clients. Um, Past clients are my favorite people because they're usually the happiest to talk to, right? Um, I was talking to somebody last night and he made me think of one of my past clients. And it's one of the most interesting things that I've ever come across. But he wanted me to hold off listing his house. This is way back when, because he bought a kangaroo. And he didn't think a kangaroo should be there when people are looking at a house. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably the wackiest and most interesting reason I've ever heard of to postpone listing your house. I'm like, is there anything you can do with a kangaroo? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna sell it. And I'm like, what are you doing with a kangaroo in the first place? Anyhow, you never know how those conversations are going to go. And so I had this conversation last night about that. And yeah, I'm going to call him today. I can't wait to call and see what other interesting things he has going on. But calling past clients, it's a great way to, generate referrals. It's definitely a great way to, build your relationship and build your business. Calling people in your sphere, that's my favorite. I mean, there's no doubt. Um, I have had a past career. I used to be an engineer. Calling on those people that I used to work with every day, the people that I used to know, and just have a conversation with them. It's again a great way to remind them that you're in the business. It's a great way to generate referrals, and you never know what they have going on in their life, right? So our business isn't predicated on interest rates or anything like that. It's predicated on life events. And when you're having a conversation with somebody somebody you have a relationship with, somebody like that, they're more apt to tell you about people that are going through stuff. And one of the things that I love about our industry and specifically our jobs is that we're there to help people going through exciting things and challenging things and stuff like that. One of the people that reached out to us this morning is somebody I've been in contact with probably over the last couple of months. And yeah, he's going through a divorce. I'm able to help him with that. He thought he was going to be able to buy his house, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that anymore. So guess what? We're going to go shopping for a home. Wouldn't have happened if I wasn't consistently reaching out to him and prospecting, right? That is prospecting. There are some other ways to prospect. Calling expired listings, that's not my favorite, but I used to do that. And I used to make, oh man, I used to get probably 5 to 10 transactions a year by reaching out and marketing to expired listings and prospecting them. There's a lot of agents in our industry that call FSBOs, right? For sale by owners. That's never been my thing, but some people love doing that. Cold calling for listings and sales, right? So I've made this joke, right? And it's been a while since I've made it, but the success rate of online leads, right? So we could buy leads from online sources or whatever. The success rate is like 1 to 2%. If you cold call right out of the telephone book, your success rate's probably going to be about 1 to 2%. So you absolutely can cold call. You get your script together and you learn as you go along. But cold calling, it does work for people. When I was at another brokerage, I sat next to somebody. His office was right down the hall from mine. And first thing he would do in the morning is he would just cold call. It was his thing to do when he had his coffee. One of the other things that we've talked about in the past is door knocking, circle marketing for, right around your listing. or door knocking your neighborhood. Those are all really successful strategies that, a lot of us have, had a lot of success with. Holding open houses is another, right, form of prospecting. It's putting yourself out there looking for business. Calling absentee owners. So we could actually do that. We could work with the title office and we could get a list of names of people that, have already moved on, or they own rental houses or something like that. Cold calling from a list of names, that's one of the other things that I was just talking about. Call right out of the phone book. Let's see, hosting investor seminars. So we could host investor seminars, first-time home buyer seminars. We could, host all, I have done a lot of those things in the past, and varying amounts of success. But again, it's not necessarily the success that you have at the event. It's the fact that you're putting yourself out there to your sphere, showing that you're an expert, being willing to share that expertise. But you got to be out there looking for business. You got to be out there actively looking for business. You've got to be out there putting yourself out, being willing to be rejected. And that's really the biggest difference between marketing and prospecting. Are you in a position to be rejected or hear a no or something like that? When you send a newsletter or email a newsletter, you don't necessarily have that. Those are all good things, but they're different than calling somebody and saying, hey, do you know anybody that might be looking for help buying or selling a house? That's an entirely different thing. That is prospecting. And I think that's one of the things that determines how successful you're going to be in this industry. The more prospecting you do, the more successful you're going to be, the more clients you're going to have, so on and so forth. So anyhow, I hope you have a great day. Do your best to make today awesome.